12, 13. Why do I like to keep saying that? I just do. 11, 12, 13, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. All right, so let's put it in perspective. Let's say you have a religious experience and you want to become Jewish. That's your thing. You want to really get into Judaism. But you're a little naive and you don't know any better. And, you know, you're one can short of a six-pack. And so you go to a Catholic priest, right? You go to a Catholic priest and ask the Catholic priest all about Judaism. Well, what's the Catholic priest going to be able to tell you? Not a whole lot, even though there are currently about 220,000 Catholic priests. You could go to every single Catholic priest in the world and they would give you the same answer about the Jewish religion. Well, all right, so you go up the ladder. There's about 3,000 bishops, Catholic bishops, Roman Catholic bishops. You go to them. Ask them all about Judaism. 3,000 of them. They're all going to tell you exactly the same thing. And then you get so frustrated, you go all the way to the Pope, and the Pope gives you the party line as well. It's because they are all trained in the same philosophy. They all have the same Weltanschauung. They all have the same worldview. So they're all going to tell you the same thing. It's no different in the wonderful world of allopathic reductionism. It doesn't matter if it's a cardiac specialist. It doesn't matter if it's the best knee surgeon in the flippin' world. It doesn't matter if it's the right eye doctor or the left eye doctor or the liver specialist or, the president's own personal physician. It does not matter whom you go to. They're going to give you their view of medicine through the allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical centrist lens. But people don't know this in the United States. People think that MDs own the entire world of medicine and that everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack with substandard training. People don't understand that there are different philosophies of healing, different philosophies of medicine, the same way that there are different philosophies of religions or religion or politics or business. They don't understand that. And it's the pharmaceutical industry that's gone out of its way to keep people in the dark. They have. They drill it into your head every night. You know, you work 40 hours a week, you come home, you're tired. Your significant other works, your wife works, your husband works. For goodness sake, your kids work. Everybody's working just to, maintain your mortgage payment so the bank can enjoy the interest that you get to pay them against your will so that you can live in the house you can live in or drive around in the car that you drive around in, right? Everybody's underneath the wheel financially. Everybody is. Well, unless you're a member of the 1%. But my point is, you work a long, hard day, and you come home at night, and you want to relax. You want to, have some mental bubble gum. You want to chill. So what do? You turn on the TV. Now, on the TV, do you see an advertisement for naturopathic medicine? No. Do you see an advertisement that says this is how we actually get to the root cause of heartburn or arthritis or obesity or high blood pressure? No. All that you see is pharmaceutical ads, pharmaceutical ads, pharmaceutical ads, and pharmaceutical ads. And we have become so dumbed down and so numb to the preponderance of pharmaceutical propaganda that when it comes to the part of the commercial where the sexy English female voice tells you this drug could make your left leg fall off. This drug can make you blind. This drug could give you cancer. This drug could kill you. What do? You don't even notice it anymore. Maybe you laugh at it. Maybe you shrug it off. But this is how we have been slow-walked into the false cultural notion that MDs own medicine and that their point of view is the only point of view, that there are in fact, no other valid points of view. And this is the single biggest obstacle that is in the way of people securing their health. Because when, push comes to shove and you're up against it and you discover by hook or by crook that you do have blocked arteries in your heart, or you discover by hook or by crook that 60% of your liver is malfunctioning, or you discover by hook or by crook that your kidneys are failing, and that you're probably going to be a candidate, or you definitely are a candidate for a liver transplant or kidney transplant, when you're up against it big time, or even if it's just a simple case of arthritis or heartburn or high blood pressure, you're in pain. You're struggling. And if it's a more serious condition, you're in fear. So what are you going to do? Your brain is going to go to its comfort station. Your brain is going to lean on what it's comfortable, what it knows. What does it know? MD-directed medicine. Because the MDs have pushed everybody else out of the marketplace. They've pushed us all out of the marketplace. I mean, who can compete? You know how much it costs to run an advertisement, a commercial, a 30-second or a 60-second spot during prime time TV like the drug companies do? You know how much that costs? The only people that can afford that are the drug companies. So you don't hear it from our point of view. You have to tune into the Internet. Thank God for the Internet. You have to tune into a progressive radio station. Thank God for the radio stations in Texas and California that carry this show and Dr. Wallach's show. You have to look for it. You have to hunt for it because it's not readily available. And then, you have to suspend disbelief because for your entire life, you've been pounded the thought, the meme, the intellectual thought meme, that the MD is the exclusive owner of the domain of medicine and everybody else does not know what the hell they're doing. They're just practicing quack medicine. So we suffer and we suffer and we suffer and we suffer needlessly because we keep going to the same philosophy of medicine. We keep going to different specialists who all practice the same worldview, who all have the same Weltanschauung. It's all allopathic reductionism all of the time. Now, there might be some MDs who are more up to date than others, and they know that this chemotherapy drug is 0.07% more effective than the other chemotherapy drug, and they're going to give you the medicine not because they make more money giving it, but because there's an eeny-weeny-teeny chance of having a better outcome. And there might be one medical doctor, surgeon somewhere that is versatile in the most advanced surgical technique. There are people in the world of MD land that are really good at what they do, and what they do never gets to the root cause of the disease. Rarely gets to the root cause of the disease. And so even if you go to the best person in the world for your particular illness, they're going to bring to bear on their understanding of your illness and the treatment thereof, they're going to bring to bear their reductionistic worldview. And therein lies the problem. You wouldn't go to a Catholic to get advice about Judaism, would you? You wouldn't go to a communist to get advice about voters' rights. You wouldn't go to a Democrat for advice about funding the military, and you wouldn't go to a Republican for advice about helping the poor and welfare programs and unions. You wouldn't do that because it's not in their worldview. You wouldn't go to an atheist to entertain a conversation about where did we come from, what are we here for, and where are we going. You wouldn't do that. Wouldn't go to a geologist, for an astronomy lesson. Wouldn't go to a roofer. Wouldn't hire a roofer if your driveway needed to be repaved. Wouldn't hire a plumber if the electrical system in your house was out of whack. But when it comes to medicine, we only go to the MD. It's MD-A, MD-B, or MD-C. It's MDs all the time across the board. And it is this misunderstanding of the MD's philosophical orientation. If people actually knew how the MDs thought about their illness, they never would go to them. If people with psychological issues understood that their psychiatrist, MD, actually believes that consciousness is a function of biochemistry, they'd never go to them for treatment. If people actually believed that or understood that the oncologist is not concerned with how to cure cancer, they would never go to them. But we do not have this understanding. It is lacking in our education. Nobody is lining it up for us. Nobody is telling us the way that it is. And then it's too late. Because push has come to shove, and now you've got arthritis, and now you've got a kidney failure, and now you've got clogged arteries in your heart. And so what are you going to do? You're going to bail, baby. Out of fear, you're going to cave in to cultural conditioning. And you're going to go straight to the open arms of the MD. And heaven forbid you have a good insurance policy, because if you do, they are going to do test after ineffective, useless test, drug after ineffective, useless drug to run up the bill because they can, because remember, it's a for-profit industry. You want to see the difference between, and if you don't think it's a for-profit industry, go to Canada for 4 months. Go to Canada for a year. Go hang out in Canada for a year and see what it's like there. For goodness sake. You have knee pain in Canada, they give you an ultrasound. You have knee pain in the United States, you get 6 CT scans. And then a laparoscopic view. It's nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, we must open our eyes to the way that it really is. And when you understand the way that it really is, you will come to the same conclusion that I have come to. The single best thing that you can do to optimize your health is fire your MD now. Let's go to South Dakota. What are you saying? Talk to Sean about the human heart. One of my favorite subjects. Hey, Sean, thanks for calling. You are live.
All right, great. Calling about, I'm 36, pretty tall guy, slender, 6'7". I was a basketball player in college, and I started having heart arrhythmia stuff at that point. Never really got it diagnosed until later. I was having AFib, but I ended up having an ablation a few months ago, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And they found that I had AV NRT was probably the trigger.
Yeah, no, they're wrong. I mean, that's what they think. That's what they think, right?
I was having AV NRT.
Right.
And then I was also having, they found AFib, and then I also have mitral valve prolapse.
Okay. So how old are you and how much do you weigh?
36, 200 pounds.
Okay. And outside of the heart, is there anything else in your day-to-day life that's problematic, like, mood, energy, sleep, heartburn, joint pain, and anything else bothers you on a regular basis?
Probably mostly just some fatigue here and there.
Yeah, that's the most common complaint.
Right. And I did do a stool sample from a lab doctor company that showed I had a little bit of yeast, and then I had a bad bacteria in my gut as well.
Yeah, was it doctor's data? Was it doctor's data?
Yeah.
That's a great lab.
And I did a hair analysis from there as well.
Yeah, we love doctor's data. They're one of the most progressive diagnostic laboratories in the country. Check them out, folks, doctorsdata.com. They're right here in the great state of Illinois, doctorsdata.com. Very progressive lab doing all kinds of metabolic testing to show people, give people a heads up on the functional ability of different organ systems to, how they're doing actually in real time. So, all right, are you sure?
I have one other.
All right, go ahead.
I have seasonal allergies as well.
Okay.
All right. Fall and spring. But.
All right, so we'll start there. From our point of view, the seasonal allergies, any type of an allergy, whether it's a food allergy, whether it's a seasonal allergy, whether it's a pet allergy, or it doesn't matter, the imminent cause, the root cause from our particular point of view is something called a leaky gut. Leaky gut. Your digestive tract is the border land between the inside of the body and the outside of the body. When stuff is inside your intestinal tract, it's outside the body. How about that? Stuff doesn't enter inside the body until it passes through the wall of the intestinal tract and enters into the bloodstream. It's the border between the inside and the outside of the body. If that border is corrupted, then all manner of things happen to the immune system, because the central headquarters of the immune system is in a network of blood vessels which surrounds the intestinal tract. It's like the border guard, the border patrol, the border police. So if you are eating food that's inappropriate for your body, it will hurt the intestinal tract, and when the intestinal tract is compromised, it becomes very easy for big molecules of food to slip into the bloodstream where there should only be little molecules of food, and when that happens, all kinds of allergic cascades are tipped off, and we believe a leaky gut is one of the root causes of any type of an allergy. So my recommendation to anybody suffering from any allergy is you must become gluten-free. You have to stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, because these are the 4 biggest offenders of the small intestine: wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Now, there's 6 other foods we recommend people stop eating as well. And you can download that list for free, Sean, if you just go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com. And when you visit that website, a little box pops up that says, you want to become a Dr. Glidden subscriber to Dr. Glidden's free newsletter? And if you click yes, then you're directed to a page where you can download for free my good food, bad food list. So the recommendation is eliminate all 10 bad foods for you. Number 1. Number 2, when it is seasonal allergy time, you want to pay attention to when you start to have an attack. And, you know, it's always goes like that, you know, you'll be going through your morning and then all of a sudden you start sneezing your head off, your eyes get really watery, or, you know, it comes in attacks, comes in waves, right? When you start to react allergically, look to see the very last thing that you had to eat or drink. Look to see the very last thing you had to eat or drink. Write it down and just keep a running list. By the time you've had 3 or 4 allergy attacks, quote unquote, there will be common foods or drinks on that list. Those foods or beverages are capitulating the allergy attack, so you need to eliminate those from your intake during allergy season. And that's a really good way to get a heads up on the allergic condition. Stick with me, Sean. I'll dial in the heart stuff when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. And we're back. November 12th, 2013, talking to Sean in South Dakota. Welcome back, Sean. Are you still with me?
Yep.
All right. Hey, so listen, are you shorter than you used to be, or don't you know?
I don't believe so.
All right. So you want to measure yourself in your bare feet and look to see whether you've shrunk a quarter of an inch or a half an inch or even an inch. And it's an easy thing to miss. Because from our point of view, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you hear hoofbeats, you think of horses before you think of wildebeest, right? The single most common cause of atrial fibrillation is a degenerative disc disease in the spine. And it would be between thoracic vertebrae 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 3 and 4. That's the vertebrae between your neck and your mid-back, kind of between your shoulder blades, right? So when the discs between those vertebrae start to become structurally compromised, the nerves that come out of your spine that feed your heart become pressed upon inappropriately just by the mechanics of walking or moving or coughing or sneezing or just, you know, mechanically moving your body. And when a nerve root becomes excited, it takes a long time for it to calm down. It's kind of like if you get a mosquito bite. It only takes a millisecond to get the bite, but then it takes 2, 3, 4 days for the bite to go away completely, for the skin to clear up. Well, it's the same thing. So, you know, you'll sneeze or you'll cough or you'll bend around and pick something up from the back seat of the car, and the little nerve root gets pinched just a teeny weeny bit, and that excitation of the nerve root causes the heart to beat inappropriately. And then the heart continues to beat inappropriately until the nerve root calms down. But all you have to do is sneeze or cough or turn around inappropriately the wrong way, and it sets the whole thing off again. So from our point of view, there's nothing wrong with the heart. it's the nerve root coming into the heart. And so, we try to be preventive here, and we try to fix it at the source, fix it appropriately, right? So look to see whether or not you're shorter than you used to be. And you measure yourself in your bare foot as accurately as you can. And if you are, the recommendation would be to take one healthy start pack and 2 bottles of selenium and 1 bottle of plant minerals. 1 healthy start, 2 selenium, and 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month. So you're 200 pounds more or less, so that's what you would need, 2 of those a month. And then we would need glucogel. Glucogel is what we specifically use to support and promote the structure and function of the intervertebral discs. And that dose is 1 capsule of glucogel per 10 pounds per day. So you need 20 glucogel a day, right? You're 200 pounds more or less. So that's 600 a month, right? 20 times 30 is 600 a month. And by the way, how do you take 20 capsules a day? Well, 7 with breakfast, 7 with lunch, and 6 with dinner. That's how you do it. You just spread them out over the course of the day. So figure out how many bottles of the glucogel you would need to purchase to hit that mark. Eliminate the foods from your diet, and give it 90 days. Give it 90 days to see if you notice a specific and measurable improvement. Now, did they give you a pacemaker, by the way? What did they do?
No.
Okay. All right.
They did an ablation. They just ablated the right atrium they found the extra pathway when they did the EP study.
Yeah. Okay.
Meaning AVNRT, and then they ablated 1 vein
all right, so
that they saw AFib signals from.
All right. Good. So now, but that opens up a very interesting can of worms, right? See, because our position is that the human body has wisdom, and the human body is attempting all of the time to fix itself, to right the listing ship. So nobody knows. Nobody's done a definitive, study that shows that the extra bundle branch is a bad thing. Nobody's ever done that. It's entirely possible that is there because the other bundle was defective because of the degenerative disc disease in the spine. That's a plausible explanation, rather than it just growing because of some mutation in your genes, at some moment in your maturation cycle while you were in your mother's womb. I mean, who the heck knows? Right? And remember, it's the perspective that the MD brings to bear on everything, right? I mean, they don't think your appendix is worthwhile. They just cut it out. Cut your tonsils out. Cut your gallbladder out. You don't need these things, right? They think that they're smarter than nature. Well, maybe. Maybe in this case, the extra bundle branch was a mistake of the body. But I'm not going to make that determination without further investigation. Now, heaven forbid this happens again, because remember, right, healing's a slow, steady process. It doesn't happen overnight. If going down the road here while you're waiting for the medical nutrition to kick in, heaven forbid, if this happens again, your heart starts beating funky, the first thing I would do is I would ice the heck out of my upper back. I would put ice, I'd get a big bag of ice, I'd lie down on it right between my shoulder blades. I'd ice it for 10 minutes, and then I'd come off for 20. Ice it for 10, come off for 20. Ice it for 10, come off for 20. Ice it for 10, come off for 20. And usually, if you do that just for 2 hours, the heart starts beating normally because the inflammation to the nerve root is knocked down by the ice. So try that as an experiment in the future, heaven forbid, if it happens again, because, medical nutrition takes a while to kick in. And the last thing I want to tell you, Sean, is that this is not specifically, a disc treatment, right? Intervertebral disc treatment. This is a Sean from South Dakota treatment because it's patently holistic in its formulation. And so while you're going downstream with this program, in addition to seeing how it affects the heart, look to see how it affects your mood and your energy, right? And your sleep and your appetite and your sex drive and your weight and everything, because it's a holistic treatment. And you might be surprised that, as it's taking a while for the heart to sort itself out, a whole bunch of other things fall into place. And once you get traction from this program anywhere that's noticeable and measurable and remarkable, we take that as a good sign, and we stay on that horse, man, and ride it. We just ride it until, it draws in all of its clinical effectiveness. And there are two fundamental points of interest here. Number one is you have to nutrify. Number two is you must eliminate wheat, barley, rye, and oats and the other 10 foods. If you continue to eat those foods, even if you did take the supplementation every day like a good man, like a good boy, if you don't eliminate those foods, you're not going to get much result from this program, because the consistent consumption of those foods interferes with the absorption of the nutrients. So this is like, Muhammad Ali's rope 'em and dope 'em. It's the 1-2 punch. You got to clean up your diet and take the supplements if you expect any remarkable positive change. Give that a try, Sean. Get in touch with the person that told you about this show, because they'll be able to get the supplements for you.
Yeah, they already have been. I'm part of your team.
Oh, well, all right, great. And, all right, fantastic.
Hey,
so,
Dr. Glidden, I had one.
Yeah.
The yeast, is there anything you'd add for that, or the bad bacteria in the gut from that sample?
Well, if it's bacteria, then what they should have done with that sample from doctor's data is they should have given you, it should be a sheet in there that says, because they'll culture the bacteria out and they'll try to kill it with different things, right?
It was grapefruit seed extract.
So you want to, now Longevity regretfully doesn't sell that.
Yep.
So you want to find an over-the-counter grapefruit seed extract, number one. And when you're shopping for over-the-counter stuff, because, it's outside of the purview of Longevity,
yep,
if you have the choice, you want to look to see if there's a label on the bottle that says GMP. It stands for Good Manufacturing Procedure. It's like a little stamp, like the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval.
Mm-hmm.
When you're shopping for an over-the-counter supplement, you have a choice. Like there's 5 grapefruit seed extracts for you to choose from, right? If one of the grapefruit seed extract bottles has a GMP stamp on it, buy that one, because that company has a pretty good handle on the whole vitamin quality control thing. So that's what you want to dial that in, the grapefruit seed extract. But number two, remember the environment of the intestinal tract is like a shoebox, or like a sardine can. There's only so much stuff that can fit in the sardine cans, only so many sardines that can fit in there. So when we're addressing a bacterial infection in the gut, number one, we want to get on board with a therapy that kills the bad bacteria, and in this case it would be the grapefruit seed extract. But number two, we want to put the good bacteria back in the box so that there's no room for the bad bacteria to grow. So we want to kill the bad bacteria, and we want to feed the good bacteria, or populate the good bacteria. And we do that in Longevity with the root beer belly, the nightly essence, or the Flora FX. So, all right, now you can do the root beer belly anytime. You can take the root beer belly morning, evening, afternoon, night, doesn't matter. I'd prefer that you take the root beer belly between meals. But if you're going to do the nightly essence or the Flora FX, then the recommendation there is to do it immediately before bed, because that increases the chance that it's going to be absorbed into your body efficiently. That sound good, Sean?
Yep, thank you.
All right, Skipper, appreciate your patience, appreciate your support mostly. Now, get her done, man, and get your health back. Sean's a smart guy. He's a member of Team Glidden and a Dr. Glidden insider. It doesn't get any better than that. Let's go to California and talk to Vadim about psoriasis. Hey, Vadim, thanks for holding on. You are live.
Yeah, hi. Well, a friend of mine, Igor, he's 45 years old and working as a Mercedes mechanic, and he has arthritis. But also, I'd like to ask about my wife and about myself, if I can.
Oh, yeah, so let's talk about your wife first, because you know what they say, happy wife, happy life.
That's right. Well, she's a little shy to call, because she believes that my English is a little bit better. But she has a Sorry if I mispronounce, uterine fibroids.
Yeah, uterine fibroid, yeah.
Right. She had 5 children, and she's 46 years old, 5'4", and 126 pounds.
Okay.
And that's her major problem as of now. Other than that,
okay. All right. Now, what's your nationality?
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian. Okay, good.
Right.
So, from our point of view, uterine fibroids are caused by oxidative damage to the uterus. Oxidative damage is caused by fried food, oil in a bottle, and the other 10 bad foods, and lack of antioxidants. So you might want to become a Dr. Glidden insider and reference the webinar that I did on antioxidants. Reference the webinar that I did on antioxidants, because there's a lot to understand there. But basically, we need her to stop eating food that's causing oxidative damage. So she needs to stop eating oil. No more salad dressing, man. No more olive oil. Can't cook with oil. Cook with butter instead. Cook with lard instead. All right, good. And she needs to take 100,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day. 100,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day, and I don't care how she does that. She can do it exclusively with supplementation, or she can mix and match between the supplements and green tea or walnuts or cinnamon and curry powder or whatever. And stick around, Vadim. We're up against a hard break. When we come back, I'll dial in a protocol for her and you, and maybe if we have time, your friends. Stick around, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Bada bing and bada boom. Dialing it in with Vadim in California. Vadim, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, very good. So the easiest way to do this at 125 pounds would be one anti-aging healthy start pack. One anti-aging healthy start pack and 3 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. Now, that's going to give about 24,000 ORAC a day. So she's going to need about 80,000 ORAC more, which would be 4 pieces of chocolate. Oh, bummer. Triple Treat chocolate gives about 20,000 ORAC per piece. So you can give her a Triple Treat chocolate, 4 pieces a day. If that's not inside the budget, then just, reference the webinar that I gave on antioxidants and figure out how to secure the remaining 180,000 ORAC, more or less, with food or, spices or beverage or whatever. But her goal is 100,000 ORAC a day. Plus, she's got to eliminate all of those foods, and within time, should go away. Now, depending on how big the uterine fibroid is and its anatomical location, she may be able to shrink it completely, and she may not be able to shrink it completely. So, give this program, I would not do anything extracurricular until 6 months has gone by. Is she in pain? Does the uterine fibroid cause pain or, bleeding in between periods, or is there any trouble with it?
Yeah, sometimes in pain and bleeding, yeah.
All right, so we want to look to see if, that's actually not a bad thing, because that will let you know, without having to get another ultrasound or an x-ray, whether or not this program is sufficient to the cause, because if all of that stuff brightens up, the pain goes away, the cramping goes away, the bleeding between menstrual cycles goes away, then we're good, and we just need to maintain the discipline. So that's what you want to think about when you think about uterine fibroids. How about for you?
Excellent. Thank you. I've always been sane, even though when I played hockey back in Ukraine, a professional team, but now I've been thinking of gaining weight because I work as a beekeeper, and also my other small business is heavy imported German windows and doors, and I'd like to gain some weight and muscles, and also I lost almost an inch in height. I'm 54 years old.
Well, all right, so there's only one thing that makes people lose height, and that's when the intervertebral discs shrink, right? And sometimes, your bones can also shrink, but that really doesn't happen until you get into your 80s or 90s. So it's an intervertebral disc thing that we need to focus on here. And now, is going to sound funny when I say this, but the simple solution to gain weight is you have to eat more healthy calories. You have to just eat more calories. That's the only thing that makes people gain weight, is they eat too many calories. So in your case, if you are attempting to gain weight, you have to eat more calories. So eliminate the 10 bad foods, and then find something that you like to eat that's not in the 10 bad foods that's loaded with calories. One of the easiest ways to get more calories into your body is almond butter, honey, and salt. Almond butter, honey, and salt. Isn't that interesting? But it can be anything, man. I mean, and really you just kind of want to follow your body's own lead. But the first thing that you have to do is eliminate the 10 bad foods. The second thing that you have to do is give your body all of the nutrients that it needs to figure everything out. Because when your body is under-nutrified, all manner of signals are going to get messed up, and your body's not going to know whether it's coming or going, man. And it's going to be hard to secure weight or hard to lose weight, whatever the case may be. So the recommendation for you, because of the shrinkage that's happened in your body, would be 1 healthy start pack, 2 bottles of selenium, 1 healthy start, 2 selenium, and 1 plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 healthy start pack, 2 selenium, and 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 capsule of glucogel per 10 pounds of body weight per day. Figure out how many bottles you need every month to fulfill that goal. Eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. Fill your body up with those nutrients every day, and then lean on something to give you more calories, as long as it's not one of the 10 bad foods. Ladies and gentlemen, regretfully, we're all out of time. Laura from the UK, if you call back tomorrow, I'll put you first in the line. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Thanks for spending another afternoon with me. Live long and prosper.